And for today's lesson's topic, I would start from a comment that I received here on my channel from one of you, precious students. It is crying for help to explain how Italian prepositions work. In fact, in English, you can deal with tiny particles, and those tiny particles, their main function is to follow or precede important part of the speech. I'm referring to subjects, objects, verbs, and etc. All those important parts are introduced or followed by particles. You realize that Italian language has huge quantity of different tiny particles, but that's the part of Italian peculiar musicality. The rhythm, the fluidity of Italian language is given by the very presence of particles. One first important piece of advice I can share to you. So my piece of advice is to learn this kind of nursery rhyme in order to memorize the 9 different prepositions. The nursery rhyme goes like this: di, da, in, con, su, per, tra, fra. 9 prepositions. Those are the 9 basic simple prepositions you can face in Italian language. Preposition number 1 is di. Di is D plus E. 2 letters, a strong D, D, and the vowel E. Di. Often in Italian language, preposition di introduces some specification. Can be translated as of, the English of, and as I said, introduces objects, sentences, part of the speech when the interlocutor specifies something about something else. It can be property. This mobile phone is Jack's, is of Jack. Questo cellulare è di Jack. Di introduces the person that owns the mobile phone. Also can introduce material, the material that something is built of. That furniture is made of wood. Quel mobile è fatto di legno. I can also specify something ideological, a thought. Io ho paura di te. I'm afraid about you. Or io ho bisogno di te. I need you. This is a classic example when in English you can proceed with a speech, a phrase that goes smoothly without any preposition. I need you. However, in Italian, again, just picture that every important piece of the sentence, it is introduced by a preposition. Ho bisogno di te. Second preposition is a. A, it is made only by one vowel, a, and often introduces a motion to a place. Classic example of when you can use a is to describe a motion to a place. Io vado a Roma, I go to Rome, so can be identified as the English too. When it comes to destinations, to describe destinations. When you go to a generic place, io vado a casa, I go to home. Again, in English sounds better, I go home, I'm going home. There's no need for additional particles to introduce. Home, my destination. However, in Italian, you won't get that easily because you need to introduce the place with a particle. Io vado a casa sounds pretty awkward. Io vado a casa, definitely better. Io penso a te. I think about you. I transfer the action of thinking to you. So, even in this case, a is going to describe or introduce the motion of the action of thinking to another person. Also, a gift. Regalo le rose a Silvia. I gift roses to Silvia. It is the transfer of the object that is going to be introduced by a. Third preposition is da. D plus a. Mainly describes the motion from a place. I come back from Milan. Io torno da Milano. I'm describing that I'm coming back from a specific place. However, keep in mind that da can also introduce motion to a place. For instance, io vengo da te. I come to you. Venire, the verb to come, often wants da. Either that means that I'm coming from a place, vengo da Roma, come from Rome, or that I go toward you, vengo da te. Da solo. Da solo means alone. It is very characteristic for Italian language that when I describe and I'm doing something alone, it is introduced by preposition da. Vengo da solo, I come alone. Lo faccio da solo, I do that alone. Da can also be used again when the motion goes to a specific place. But in this case, another tip again I can give to you, I can share with you, my precious students, is that with the verb trovare, that literally means to find, but can be used as a phrasal verb to mean that we meet in a specific place. Like in English it would sound, we find ourselves at Mario's. In Italian language it is very common to use the verb trovare. Noi ci troviamo alle 4, at 4 o'clock, da Mario, at Mario's. In, two letters, I and N. In, N. In is, well, the twin of English in. However, in Italian and in English have pretty much the same function, describing something that goes inside something. Noi assieme siamo in classe. We all together are in classroom. La pizza è in forno. The pizza is in the oven. So every time there's something inside something else, you're gonna use the particle in. Remember a very big difference between English language and Italian language. In English you can use in when you tell people that you are in a country. I live in Italy. And in Italian is same. Io vivo in Italia. But when it comes to cities, I live in Rome. In Italian is io vivo a Roma. We take back a particle. Remember a big difference with country names and city names. Country names in for both, city names a for Italian. Con, 3 letters. Con is C-O-N. In this case, C becomes a hard C, K, like an English K. Con, con. Con is the translation of the English with. So every time you want to say that something is with something else, or a person is with some other person, you introduce that part of the sentence with the preposition con. Io viaggio con mia sorella. I travel with my sister. Also, when you want to tell, for instance, a company you travel with, I travel with American Airlines. Io viaggio con American Airlines. Classic example of a sentence you will use in Italian a lot. Lo porto con me. I bring it with me. Su per. But actually, su per are 2 different prepositions. Su and per. But it helps to memorize the nursery rhyme with su and per. But first, preposition su is on. The translation of the English on. So, when something is on something else, you use the particle su. La penna è sul tavolo. The pen is on the table. Also, in a figurative way to speech, it is way diffused to say io sono sul treno. I'm on the train. The meaning could be I'm riding a train, but you physically are on the train. So in Italian, it's very diffused to say yes, mom, I'm on the train right now. Sì, mamma, sono sul treno adesso. I said sul. That is odd. Oh, just save that for later. Per. P-E-R. Per. Per means for. Lo faccio per te. I do it for you. This gift is for Mark. Questo regalo è per Mark. Last two simple prepositions, tra and fra, are similar but different. T-R-A, tra, with the vibrant R, and fra, F-R-A, fra and tra. Tra is used to describe when things are between, or something is between two things. Tra, between. Sono tra il martello e l'incudine. I'm between the hammer and anvil. Questa cosa deve rimanere tra te e me. This thing must remain between you and me. Actually, you can substitute tra with fra. Questa cosa rimane fra me e te. This thing remains between me and you. So, tra and fra are actually similar. They mean the same thing. Well, actually, the choice is only because of phonetic reasons. On average, you want to avoid repeating the same sound of preposition and the word coming after. For instance, if I have to say within 3 days, it is best using fra 3 giorni instead of tra 3 giorni. Or between siblings, fra fratelli. It is better using tra fratelli. So you alternate T and F if the next word coming after preposition has a hard T or hard consonants, or F and soft consonants. Last part of video, conclusions. I leave here a tab, a sum up of the 9 prepositions you can find in Italian language and their main usage. So if you want to stop the video, take notes, or just grab screenshots, feel free to do that. I give 100% consent of using this sum up tab for your studies. And if you notice, yes, because you are genius speakers, I've dropped a clue of next lesson's topic. I briefly introduce composite prepositions. La penna è sul tavolo. The pen is on the table. Composite prepositions happen in Italian language when you take the 9 prepositions and you combine them with the article. Don't worry, I will cover this very topic in the next video. For today's lesson, just practice and memorize the 9 basic prepositions and their purposes. Remember, speak like a genius, and see you to the next lesson. Bye bye!